Welcome to my house. Hey guys, this is Em and I am coming to you with props and decorations, and let's have a look at the house that we built for a prop for Children's Church. So guys, we're talking about the house and the castle, the two different things we built with cardboard. One was $2, which was the house to make, and one was $14.99, which was the castle. And I'll explain something unique about the castle and how I went around it, and then something odd about the house. Now, the cool thing about working with cardboard is the fact that it folds up. So you can make a prop that you can fold back up, put in storage, it doesn't take up much room, and then you fold it back out when you need it. So we've used, like, the castle only lasted for a month. It's a different kind of cardboard, and obviously we used it every Sunday for a month, and we may have had a little too much fun with it, so it died. But as for the house, we've tried to, after we've used it, we've tried to keep it away, so the kids don't go playing with it a little too much. But the house we've actually used for different lessons, like a puppet show. We've also used it in, Pastor used it in a interactive Christmas service. And so yes, that was interesting. And the kids really love it when you have something like that. Now, it could be just a decoration for a Sunday school, children's church, or other kids ministry, whether it's a holiday kids club or whatever. But you can also use it for a purpose to teach something. So obviously when we built the house originally, it was part of the story and we used it then. I don't remember what story because we built it so long ago. But some of the cool things we did, and how did I do it for just $2? Let me tell you how I did it, and we'll run through that. And then the most unique thing that I've actually used in my house that most people could not guess, and then something about the castle. Alright, so I'm going to share that with you guys now. Before I do that, if you haven't subscribed to us, make sure you click subscribe, hit the bell, and like this video. Share with your friends. If you have other people you know in children's ministry and you want to share ideas with them, share it with them. Go check us out on socials. We've got Facebook and Instagram. You can find us at kids.ministries.with.m. Alright, we're getting there. And then everything else, the website and YouTube, is obviously Kids Ministries. But so, the house. We had house paint, leftover house paint from a builder fixing something up. So I used the house paint. And then we also had an excess of other color paints laying around, hence the reason why the red door, because we had too much red in our class. Now, it was obviously old paint, so I used it up. Needed a good time for it to dry, set, whatever. And then for the lines, I believe I used paint. If I didn't use paint, I either used a marker, or there is like we use it when doing signage, but there's a pen you can get, and that pen is like a paint pen or a chalk pen. So it's kind of like between a paint and a chalk, but it's like permanent, and so it might have been that. But I think by the looks of that one, I may have used paint. But there's a few different options if you want to check them out. I will mention different companies, just that they've been helpful or whatever for getting different things. Doesn't mean we're sponsored by them, doesn't mean I support them, it just means that I got something from them. Alright, say for example those paint pens and stuff like that you can find at Bunnings. If you're not a local, so you're not in Australia, I know we have some people in the States and people in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and a few other countries, Vanuatu, watching these. So obviously if you have somewhere else where you can access things, let me know. Like for example boxes. Here obviously it was a fridge box, a small fridge box, and I already got that from JB Hi-Fi at Castledine. Obviously if you go to the ones in the mall, because you've got JB Hi-Fi or Harvey Norman or those things that are in shopping centres, they don't carry their boxes. But the ones outside, you can go generally ask them, and if the staff are generally pretty nice, and will help you get a box. Alright, so now for the window. Obviously I can't sew to save my life, but for the window I got somebody else to sew it for me because I wanted the windows. I think there was something with the box that I had to cover up, and hence the reason why I made the window. There was a hole in it or something like that, so I turned it into a window. So what I did is I got them to cut it, but obviously I would have to buy a rod. No, there's a piece I'm missing. Before I go to the windows, I'll go back and I'll tell you about the doorknob. How did I forget about the doorknob? It's the part I had to fix a couple of times because the kids like to open, close, open, close, open, close. So obviously the doorknob was the only thing that I actually bought. Those foam balls, I bought a packet, which was $2 for the packet, but I've got other ones to use for other things. Now I got a toothpick and I put through the box and then poked the balls on, but I put a bit of glue around it before I poked them on to try and make it, and then laced it with glue up on the inside just to hold that handle, especially the second time when I glued it. Obviously I added a lot more glue. But for the curtains, back to the curtains, my favorite unique part of curtains. You know what the crazy thing is we used? Chopsticks. Disposable chopsticks. I had a Japanese restaurant. I didn't have it, but I had them donate to me a whole bunch of chopsticks. And it was great because I was doing a youth group game or something it might have been a youth camp, I'm not sure, but I needed a whole heap of chopsticks. And so they gave me a whole bunch of those packet ones, the wooden ones. And so I used them for many things. I didn't use them all on the event that we had. So I've been using them in Sunday school. I've been using them in all kinds of different things. And so obviously with that, I hot glued 2 chopsticks together, glued them to the back of the window, and then pulled the wood in and glued it on the wood. Pulled the curtains in and then glued it to the outside. Obviously had to use a couple of clamps just to hold it there. And that's why my curtains can open and close. And I didn't have to buy a wood or do anything like that. So it made it nice and cheap. Now for the castle. Obviously the castle was the $14.99 one. And the castle was a little bit different. So it was one that was a DIY, you can draw on it. So Aldi's a really odd store. They have some really random things in the middle of the section. And so they had the castle. Now, I looked at the castle and was like, oh, that's cool. The kids would love to do that. We were doing a series on Esther and it would have been perfect for that series. So I thought, great. Except one problem. I looked at the castle and there's a couple of things that's common with castles when you're buying it from just a general shop. It's either dragons or unicorns. And it had a unicorn, I don't know, it was like poop in a rainbow or something like that. And it was like, oh, I really like the idea. It will save me time in making one. And I didn't really have time at that time. And I was like, oh, I really like it. And the kids would, enjoy it. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to get it. And I'm going to paint that one side myself. So I won't paint the whole thing. They'll decorate the other sides, but I'll paint that side. And you know what I did? Instead of destroying and covering the whole horse, or the whole unicorn and the whole rainbow, I actually turned it into a horse pulling a chariot. So obviously there was a bit of, I used texture and then paint, and obviously my side was really heavy. Everybody else used crowns, I think. We may have done some colors as well with paint. But yes, it was hilarious. Nobody realized that it was a unicorn until I mentioned it to a couple of the adults around. And so everybody loved the horse and the chariot. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of thinking outside the box to make something work for your class. Maybe you've made something out of cardboard for your class. I would love you to share it with me. If you can't send me a photo in YouTube, just DM me in socials, and I'm sure you can send it to me there on Instagram or Facebook. And let me know if you mind me sharing it with others, and I'll let tag you guys in it and let others know about different things you guys made. Because, hey, this is kids ministry. We're talking about kids ministry. great to share ideas and great to share different things that people have made. So you guys have a good one, and enjoy your kids ministry, and looking forward to sharing the next thing. Have a good week and have fun with the kids. Now, a couple of things about the house. This house has something that's really unique that I don't think you could guess. I really don't think you can guess what I used to make something to do with these curtains. But I will show you a little bit about the house and tell you about it and how we made it, and just random things that you can use and maybe give you some ideas for something you can make at your next kids event. So I hope you enjoy the tour of our house. Now, this house, it survived. I'll also tell you about the castle, which did not survive. We used it for a month. My legs are killing me, by the way, because I do not fit in this house. But I will tell you this, the kids amaze me at how many kids can actually fit in this house. It is small.